No updates on the Dansby Swanson sweepstakes, but we do ask ourselves some big questions surrounding the Cubs. Also, the latest news on Swanson, and the Cubs do make one signing on Thursday as they dip their toe into the bullpen waters, and best and worst of the week. Let's go.
Locked On Cubs, your daily Chicago Cubs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to Locked On Cubs. Alongside Sam Olber, I'm Matt Cozy. Pleased to be with you for a Friday episode. Thanks for making Locked On Cubs your first listen every day. Sam and I are lifelong fans, taking our passion to a discussion with you on all things Cubs. There was no shortage of news as we wrap up another week here in the offseason, as we're midway through December as of today. We are recording here at 9:05 p.m. Central Standard Time. As always, keeping track of the latest updates and any news that may break as we're on the air or as we get off it. Sam, more updates today, not of the favorable variety for the club on Clark and Addison, as late last night, NBC Sports Chicago reported that the Cubs did not offer Carlos Correa a contract. We'll get started right there.
Yeah, I'm going to try and do my best to not want to, not be overly negative when really that's the only choice that there is. But the question I have, there's so many things that don't make logistical sense to me in how the Cubs have approached the offseason, particularly free agency thus far. And I think the thing that stands out the most, Matt, is, and we talked about it on this show in the beginning of free agency, the safe move was always wrap Swanson up early at a cheaper cost, set the market, let everybody else pay for the other three guys, and then attack one of those elite starters, or attack a Justin Turner, or get a Jose Abreu, or a Christian Vasquez. That always was the safest, most, I would say, direct path, cost-friendly direct path at a wildly successful Cubs offseason. And now, hearing that news that they never officially offered Carlos Correa, I am flabbergasted as to why that wasn't the move all along. Then just why not get Swanson right away? I posed that question on Twitter, and one of the replies I got was, well, they were hoping still to get Correa at like a 5-year crazy high AAV. Come on, guys. That was never going to happen in this market. And if they thought that, and that was their thought process, then that's, idiotic. Here's what the Cubs did. There's two choices here, or three. They're either broke, they completely misread the market, or they just completely misplayed their hand and now are hoping that they hang on to Dansby Swanson. I don't know what it is. They're all poor choices. But, Matt, if you never offered Carlos Correa a legitimate contract, why not just get Swanson right away and then move to your marginal moves ASAP?
So I think it's a great question, definitely one that needs exploring. I do think that it's option two. I think it's possible Correa was their number one target. They began to set the framework for a deal, and then the market on that Friday night prior to the winter meetings exploded. The market in general exploded, but first it was the DeGrom deal, then it just snowballed from there. They were not prepared, which is, again, like you said, flabbergasting or baffling or idiotic, whatever it is. But they were unprepared for a market like this. On top of that, which is, again, utterly shocking, they were not prepared for this market. Plus, they are not wanting to spend the way teams were spending in the market. So that removed them from the Correa sweepstakes.
Okay.
And no matter how you put that, the plan wasn't good.
So say you're right. Say you're right, which you may be, you may not be. We have no idea. Why weren't they ever attached to Carlos Rodon? Because his market played out actually less than I thought. I thought he'd get $30 million a year. He didn't. No, seriously. I'm not asking you this directly. This could be rhetorical. They're for our listeners. Why didn't we get Christian Vasquez at 3 years? Why didn't we bump that offer? And okay, here's another thing I get a lot of. Maybe just wanted to play in Minnesota more. That's a big problem. Okay?
Huge.
If your excuse is, well, Jed tried and he'd rather go to Minnesota, then there's something organizationally wrong with this team. Okay?
Right.
Minnesota lost Carlos Correa. They are on paper, might be a worse team than us right now. And by the way, as it stands right now in 2022, as we approach 2023 in a couple of weeks, this team might be worse than it was last year as it stands. Probably on paper, adding Bellinger, adding Tyone, and adding, we'll talk about it later on, Boxberger probably outweighs losing Contreras by a net maybe 1 or 2 wins. But still, at best, this is a 74-75 win team is currently constructed. Add Swanson, it jumps up to 80, okay? Add Turner, maybe it jumps up to 83, 84. But if you added Rodon or Vasquez or Abreu, it changed everything, and you failed. Sorry.
If players are genuinely choosing Minnesota over Chicago, that means there's something in the clubhouse or in the dugout.
It's neither of those. Go up the escalator. Go up to the front office.
Yeah, but words
up to the owner's booth.
Well, what I'm trying to say is words getting around.
Agree.
Words getting around, and if people don't want to play here, there's going to be some big trouble on the horizon.
Matt.
There's going to be some dark. I get it. The sun hasn't been out for 2 weeks, but wow, these are some dark times.
First of all, I apologize to all of our listeners because I painted such a beautiful picture for everybody in this offseason, and it's been the exact opposite. And I just want to say this. If they don't land Dansby Swanson,
right,
I believe fans will react. I believe Wrigley Field will not be packed. I believe the marquee network will go down even more. Right. And Tom Ricketts is going to really have to look in the mirror for his financial well-being to sell this ball club if they miss on Dansby Swanson. I think it's that big. I really do.
And we have that episode, in our pocket when the time is necessary. Hopefully it doesn't come to that. But yeah, it's a good preview of potentially what's to come. It's head scratching.
No,
and go ahead.
No, you go.
Well, let's talk about the money just a little bit more. Because we got a question on the social medias tonight about the Cubs being in debt. And folks, I don't have the sheets in front of me, but the Cubs will never be in debt. The group that would be in debt potentially could be the Ricketts family or their companies, but one of their companies, the Cubs, given that they're a professional sports franchise, will never be in debt. Sam, when you get your new car, are you still looking for a new car? Did you ever start that process? Or
just carry on.
When you drive the car off the lot, right when you hit Northwest Highway or wherever you buy the car, it depreciates. None of these franchises are going down. They're all going up, up, and up.
Right.
And as of last March, this franchise was valued at 3.8 Bs. $3.8 billion. So any limit on spending beyond the luxury tax threshold is an artificial limit directly from the owners. Jed Hoyer does not have anything to do with an artificial limit on spending besides the budget that he potentially receives. Any limit is only from the top. Only.
Now, can I say one thing? Can I just play devil's advocate for 1 sec? I agree with that last part. But the team's evaluation is great for Ricketts' financial profile and his net worth. It isn't that doesn't mean that's the money that he has, right?
No.
So
that's the team. That's the team's worth.
That's the team's worth, which if he sells the team, which eventually he will, that he will be worth that amount. He will get that amount of money, or his family will get that amount of money.
Right.
Is there a possibility that he doesn't have as much liquid spending money as they're leading on? I don't know. But to your point on yesterday's show, it doesn't matter because they told us that they did.
They did.
They told us that they were going to be active in the free agent market in July.
Yes.
So whether
Ken Rosenthal was on Marquee and said the Cubs are going to get one of the 4 shortstops in August.
So whether they have the money or they're either broke and liars or they're cheap. It doesn't. They're either broke liars or cheap liars at this point.
Right.
I think it's a slippery slope if we start evaluating the team's finances because everybody has opinions on it. None of us know. None of us know.
That's not a fun show.
We could assume that they have enough money to sign one of these 4 gentlemen.
Right.
And if they don't, and a couple of these people that are tweeting us that they don't have the money and are broke, they need to do one of 2 things. Be more transparent with the fans so people like you and I aren't sitting here looking like morons telling you they're going to get one of these guys. Or 2, sell the team. Okay? Those are the 2 options if this stuff is true. Now, I don't think it is. I still sit here today, Thursday night, and lean towards them getting Dansby Swanson. The Red Sox stuff today felt a little bit forced.
Yeah.
We'll see. But again, even if they get Dansby Swanson, they have botched this. I said a long time ago, it feels like years ago, it was probably 2-3 weeks ago, I was fine with Dansby Swanson right away and then using that to raise your floor and then having all those other signings to raise your ceiling. But I can't repeat myself anymore. I'm so tired of this. I'm sure our listeners are tired of this. I'm sorry to them that they have to listen to this every day. I wish we had better news to bring, and we don't.
On the other side, we could still get to the Buster Olney tweet. What do you think?
Yeah, I think whatever you think. This is your program.
All right, so we're going to get to Buster Olney's information from today. Also, the Cubs did make a signing
exciting
on Thursday, and also some more reports on who they could add. And that's all coming up next. But right now, we're going to pause the podcast for a few seconds here. Okay, we're paused. Fantastic. Because again, we're going to talk about Built Bar's new reimagined flavors. Ready? There's going to be 5 of them. We have the cookie dough topper, the coconut brownie bar, the coconut brownie topper, and just in time for the holidays, the 2 major headliners right here. White chocolate peppermint granola and candy cane brownie. If you haven't tried Built Bars before, they're literally the best tasting protein bars ever built. Just sink your teeth into that first bite, and it'll change your snack eating life forever. The magical, wonderful time of the year now infused with Built Bar goodness. Again, white chocolate peppermint granola, candy cane brownie. They're all unbelievable, and they're all different. So you can order a mix box and try all 5 of those flavors for yourself. 100% real chocolate, 17 grams of protein, and shockingly low sugar and calories, 130 calories. Built Bar, you got to try this. Get 15% off your order right now by using the code LOCKEDON15 at built.com. That's built.com, promo code LOCKEDON15.
I have a new slogan for Built Bar.
Oh, all right. Let's hear it.
So well priced, even Tom Ricketts could afford it.
Oh boy. Well, you had a great line on the phone the other day. If you tweeted it, it would maybe go viral.
Was it appropriate?
It was about the dollar store. I'd like to maybe steal that one.
Yeah, you can steal whatever you want. So listen, Matt, pull up the tweet. Buster Only today basically said the Cubs are acting.
I got it right in front of me.
Okay, go ahead and read it then.
The Rays and Guardians have long demonstrated that the quickest way to competitive relevance is through enhanced pitching and defense. And this seems to be the route the Cubs are trying to take. If they land Dansby Swanson, their backbone defense at shortstop, second base, and center field would be excellent.
So I actually don't have a problem with that tweet like others did. Here's the thing. Having a small market mindset and philosophy in terms of how you win is fine. It's having a big market action, right? That's what this team's missing. Building your team, even if you have money, building your team around pitching, defense, and run prevention in 2022 is a safe way to be a competitive team every year. Listen, the Dodgers' main philosophy is arms and run prevention. They just support it and have a foundation of tons of money that they get a ton of players around. But two things can be true. You could have a small market philosophy and big market dollars to support that philosophy. The first part is fine. And I always said that's why I was fine with the Dansby Swanson signing if we eventually get it, because defense and run prevention gets you to the promised land if you're not the most talented team. What I'm not fine with is not supporting that with spending money. We have spent now, I believe, $36.8 million so far for 2023 this offseason. I was expecting that number to be in the 80s, 90s in free agency.
Right.
So I'm okay with that. The Guardians and Rays have a great organization. Your advantage is if you can master their philosophy and add it with some big spending, you have the 2016 Chicago Cubs. But right now, you're spending like the Rays and the Guardians, and that is what is so mystifying to us and our 275,000 listeners.
Well, and it's true that the pitching and defense is a major avenue to improving a ball club. And I'm, of course, a big fan of those two facets of this great game myself. And even if you get Swanson, there's going to have to be other pieces that are still out there that you lock in.
Sure.
You could make the case that when they do that, it is going to be more attractive to a Michael Conforto or Justin Turner. Both of who John Heyman name dropped as the Cubs being linked to today. The Cubs were not able to lock up Omar Narvaez. 2 years, 15 M's with the Mets.
Too much money. That's tough.
So maybe the Cubs could pay $700K to Tucker Barnhart.
2 years, 15 for Tom's tough. I think he would have been fine at 2 years, 5, right? Just nothing more than that.
Right. The Cubs did make a signing on Thursday, locking in
a good one.
Relief pitcher Brad Boxberger, 1 year, 2.8 M's for the 34-year-old right-handed pitcher, 2.95 ERA, 1.23 WHIP with 68 strikeouts in 64 innings in 2022 for the team up north. A nice bullpen option.
This is a good addition. I'm shocked that Tom was able to get him for 2.8. Anything over that, he would have said no. But Boxberger really is a solid reliever. He he was the setup man when the Brewers traded Josh Hader to the Padres as Devin Williams took over the closer role. Did a
Right.
great job. He has a nasty changeup. We'll use it in any count. If you remember his big at bat, he got Ian Happ this year. He fell behind 3-0, came back 3-1, 3-2, changeup to get Happ.
Oh my gosh.
With the bases loaded.
Boy, are you good. That is impressive.
No, Boxberger's a really good reliever, and he follows this trend that Jed Hoyer's been excellent at of getting these kind of veteran relievers and turning them into assets. And unfortunately, it looks like we're trending in this direction right now, flipping them at the deadline for more prospects.
And I do want to name drop everybody that's in the bullpen mix as of right now that we know of. Ready?
Please.
Boxberger, Sampson, Leiter, Rucker, Hughes, Wick, Alzolay, Thompson, Assad, Wisniewski, Estrada, Rodriguez, and Ullman. Those are relief pitchers in the organization.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, that's the bullpen.
It's a good mix. Stop it.
Yeah, no, it is.
They might add it Andrew Chafin. Bring him back.
The bullpen is
provided he doesn't cost more than 4 M's.
Oh boy. No, I actually did run into Mr. Ricketts yesterday. I was trying to get some stuff for my kids that I coach at Five Below. The list of concerns for this team, bullpen's not even in the top 10.
Okay, I'm not going to be able to handle myself pretty soon. I'm gonna probably break here.
Yeah, but let me tell you something. The difference between difference, and we'll go to best and worst.
Oh, thank you.
The difference between you and I. And I don't mean this as a compliment to me or an insult to you or vice versa. I'm just speaking truth, and correct me if I'm wrong. The difference between you and I is you could read this, be frustrated by it, and still focus on what you have to do during the day and put a smile on and enjoy what you do. This is my life, man. And it really bothers me. Between this and Argentina, I haven't been sleeping well. I had a full meal tonight. But this stuff irks me. Like I'm mad. I'm sad. This is my outlet. I don't have anywhere else to go. You see what I'm saying?
I gotcha. No, I'm tracking with what you're saying. And
during the summer,
you're absolutely correct.
I can't deal with 162 games of this.
Right. It's a companion sport, and you're with all of them.
I need my team to not be a laughing stock. Sorry, carry on.
All right, coming up next is best and worst of the week. Wow, do we have some stuff for you there. Today's episode is also brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. You're hanging out with some friends and putting back a few drinks. A few becomes a few too many. As the evening comes to an end and people start to head out, you think of calling for a ride. You can make it home okay. It's no big deal. What are the odds you'll get pulled over anyway? And even so, what's the worst that could happen? Your insurance goes up, you lose your license, you lose your job, you total your car, or worse. Everyone knows about the risks of driving drunk. The results are tragic and often deadly. However, that still doesn't stop everyone from getting behind the wheel while under the influence. That's why police officers are out there right now looking for impaired drivers on our roads to save lives. If you think you're okay to drive after a few drinks, think again. Play it safe and plan ahead to get a ride. It only takes one mistake to change your life or someone else's forever. Drive sober or get pulled over. A message from the NHTSA. Welcome back into Locked On Cubs. Thanks for making us your first listen every day, and thanks for listening whenever and wherever that may be. So best and worst of the week, Sam. I will say that best of the week, it just seems a little bit clouded for me right now.
I could take it.
I guess I'm gonna go with that. It's finals week, so break does start at 3 p.m. Friday.
Oh, good for you, man.
Um,
Congrats.
and
Well earned. Well earned.
I just want to get in my worst though before I just hand it over to
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
I was planning on actually going to the Winter Wonderland at Wrigley next week. And then today I looked at the weather on my phone, and beginning Wednesday, when I was supposed to go, the highs get down to the teens. And specifically on Wednesday, the high is 12. So, just don't really see a path to going anymore as we see an Arctic blast heading our way.
Yeah, and I moved during that. I'll be moving, so that'll be fun.
Single digits.
Yeah, I'll be moving in 5-degree weather. My best of the week has to be on the soccer pitch.
Oh, yeah.
A tremendous showing by Argentina, my soccer team, to lose their first game in really historically stunning fashion in the World Cup, and to bounce back to reach the final, I think really shows a lot of character. And I'm really impressed with them and happy for them.
It is a great story.
It's a really great story. It's a great story, and I really encourage everybody that listens that's tired of talking about the Cubs to check out that game on Sunday, because it's probably the game. It'll probably be the most important game I've ever watched outside of the Cubs in 16, because of what it means for legacies. I'm not going to get into it because this isn't that type of show. But the legacies that are on the line, not on the line, that's too strong, but the legacies that are at stake, and how important of a game it is. It's really spectacular. And that'll probably be my worst of the week, because I am so happy for them that they made it there. And I am so scared and nervous for that game, because it's so big. It's fun, but as a diehard fan, I remember Game 7 very well. I still physically not sure I'm the same.
What time does that kick off?
9 a.m.
Watch that. Okay.
9 a.m. It'll feed right into your Bear Eagle coverage on Fox.
That's right. Justin Fields going for the upset.
It'll actually be really weird, because if the game goes into extra time and penalties, they're gonna have to switch networks in the middle of the game, because the United States are not gonna miss any American football. But yeah, that's pretty much been my outlet. This World Cup's been amazing. It's been really fun to watch, and I'm happy that my team made the final. They deserve a lot of credit for that.
Be sure to hit the subscribe button for Locked On Cubs on YouTube as we make the push to 2,000 subscribers. Smash that like button as well. Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your pods on the audio side. And you can drop us a text, 312-834-4634. Thanks for making us your first listen every day. How about your second listen, the Locked On Sports Today podcast? Locked On Sports Today is our 22-minute recap of the previous night in sports, featuring local experts on each of the big stories, as well as the take of the day from one of the Locked On hosts. Do we think that Dansby Swanson signs this weekend?
I hope so, man.
I hope so too. Okay, so we'll be back on Monday with any updates and all the latest news with everything Cubs. He's Sam Olber. I'm Matt Cozy, and this has been Locked On Cubs.